Hello, and welcome. Welcome to the Authentic Man podcast weekly mini episodes. I'm your host, David Chambers. Almost forgot that bit. This is a new thing I'm doing where I'm going to do like short weekly episodes that's like 5 to 10 minutes long to give you just like a snippet of advice, guidance, help, insight, connection. My podcast is all about helping men feel deeply connected to themselves and the people they meet, whether that's relationships, dating, or sexually. So I'm going to get straight into it, right? Because we've got 5 minutes and I love to talk. So we're going to be talking about dealing with, the post-lockdown dating and social anxiety, the fear of dating again or the fear of meeting up. That's something, and I've quite a few of my coaching clients have sat down and spoken about actually. And a lot of these points are things that have come up in the coaching sessions that I've taken note of that are helping people, right? So let me get into it. So there's a lot of fear, right? You're feeling a lot of fear about meeting up with people, being around people, fear and anxiety. And the thing to remember is that your fear isn't real, right? In this present moment, when you're dealing with your situation, the fear is not real. It's just a bodily reaction. We've been attuned to being afraid for so long. For the last year, we've been told that we should be afraid of people, that they can hurt us, they can kill us, they can, all these things. Is that our bodies have just absorbed all this information, and we are on just high alert when we're near people in crowds. So just remember that, your nervous system is just like now been trained, and it's just a time to retrain it into something else. Be compassionate and be gentle with yourself, right? Super important. Compassionate and gentle with yourself. Another one is, look out for the positive outcomes. It's very easy to get into this kind of thinking, this anxious thinking that everything's going to go wrong. Oh my God, I'm going to go on a date. I'm going to be awkward. I'm not going to know what to say. She's not going to talk to me. He's not going to talk to me. The social interactions are going to go really weird. Stop yourself at that point and think, okay, start thinking about the positive outcomes. It's going to be a really good evening because I'm going to meet somebody new. I'm going to connect with someone I've not met before, or this person I've had a date with. Start thinking in the positive. Retrain your brain, because again, we've been trained in fear so much. We haven't been trained in the opposite of fear, which, I see as love and as connection, right? So do a bit of brain training and just deliberately think of these more positive outcomes. And also it's important to remember that everybody feels like you. You're not alone. Like other people, I'm speaking to a number of my coaching clients and helping them at the moment, is they're feeling very anxious, very afraid about being around people. Or going on dates, for instance, and not knowing what to say or what to do, or if they should touch, if they shouldn't touch. And I'm delving into all these topics with people, like, should you touch someone? Should you not? What happens if they don't want me to touch them? How do you figure all that out, right? And that's a deeper topic than I can get into in this 10 minutes. But it's just remember, everybody's feeling like you. We're all human beings with thoughts and feelings and fears. My next point is you don't have to date, right? If dating is your fear, you don't have to date. You can take your time. You're a free person to do as you please. You don't have to date straight away. So relax. Yeah? Plan an activity. If you're going on a date or even social interactions with friends, plan an activity, bowling. I'm thinking of croquet for some reason, bowls, whatever it is that you're going to do, ice skating, whatever. Plan an activity so you don't have to fear about conversation being the main thing. When we go for a drink, drinking can also make us more anxious as well. But we also know that our only thing we're going to be doing is standing and talking. So it can also add to the anxiety. So create little activities and things for people to do so that there's something for you to center and talk about, because conversation will flow easily. And this is one of my favorites. The next one is surrender and accept your feelings. The feeling of anxiety, the feeling of fear, allow it. Just be okay with it. An acceptance that it's there instead of resisting it constantly. This is a big work I've been doing with guys on a course I've been running called Master Emotions. It's like accepting what I'm feeling and then moving from that place, instead of trying to move from a place of, I don't want to feel like this is wrong, this is bad, judgment. When you're judging yourself, it only makes your feeling linger longer or feel worse, and then you place judgment on top of the feeling. And then you have a situation where you have these thoughts and this judgment about yourself. So you're making yourself feel worse through the judgment, plus you have the feeling still sitting there underneath. So surrender and accept. And this one is for people who are dating. Mainly, but it can be for everyone, is setting boundaries and consent, both sexually and non-sexually. We're in a time now where setting boundaries and saying what is acceptable around you and not acceptable is totally fine for you to do. And on the other side of that is kind of seeking consent. That might be even to touch someone. That might be When you meet up with a friend going, hey, maybe you put your arms out and go, you hugging? Consent. I'm asking you if you're cool with what I'm about to do, right? And if they say, no, I'm not down with hugging, you go, cool, maybe high five, and you work from that. And you be accepting of people's boundaries as well is a very important one. And this next point is for you guys who struggle to stay present, right? Where your mind's racing and your fears and your anxieties and running away with you, is stay present to your senses. If you're standing, spend a little moment. It could be 10 seconds to just close your eyes, feel the soles of your feet on the ground, your hands by your side, the sound of the cars or the sound of whatever there is, even the sound of my voice, right? These things can be calming. They bring you into the present moment. Remember, your fear only exists in the past and in the future. Your anxieties and fears only exist in the past and the future, right? In this present moment, all there is now. There is connection. There's people. That's all there is. And this point, the next one here is around speaking vulnerably about how you feel with the people you meet. If you say to people, I've been feeling a bit anxious and a bit fearful about meeting up with people, you just let go of it. You're surrendering to the feeling. You're accepting it. You're expressing it. And you'll be so surprised. Almost everybody I know has been like, yeah, man, I've been feeling exactly the same way. Like, you said it. And people have been appreciative of opening up that space, creating a safe space to talk about these sorts of things, because it helps us connect by being vulnerable, right? Something I talk about a lot on the podcast and all the past episodes, right? A lot of talk about vulnerability and the connecting power of that. And that's a very important one for your dates and for your non-dates, is like just being vulnerable to what's there. So up next is also to take it slow. Your social interactions as well as your physical interactions. There's no rush. Just because they've let us out the traps, it doesn't mean you have to go sprinting, you got the rest of your life as well. So take your time with your social interactions, and maybe take your time in getting sexually intimate with people if you're feeling nervous. And again, go back to the boundaries and the consent, and take it slow, just so you can attune your nervous system to, being touched, being intimate and enjoying it. And don't overload yourself by being like, oh my God, I have to do this because we can be out now. Kind of said this already, but remember, I haven't said this bit about hugging before, but remember that touching and hugging are really good for you. They release all sorts of wonderful hormones that make us feel good. You might be afraid of hugging because you've been tuned to, as I said before, but it's actually really beautiful for you. I'd recommend people, when you do meet someone who wants to hug them for slightly longer than normal. Hug them for like 10 seconds, because you feel so much better. You feel so much more connected, and so will they, because the touch is what we've been starved of in the last year. So really basking the touch. They've got two more points here. Like, one of them is something I really get my coaching clients to do, is to tune into the feeling of what you would love, right? Of what you would like to feel when you're in the social interactions or when you're on your dates. What feeling would you love to feel? Maybe it is joy, maybe it's passion, maybe it's connection, maybe it's like exuberance. Spend the time to almost spend 10, 20 seconds to meditate on that feeling. Create a picture of what you would like it to be like, the scene, the date, the social interaction, and then let that feeling be with you, and then act from that place. Instead of just thinking about what you're afraid of and acting from there, you're going to have a completely different outcome, right? It's a really beautiful exercise to do. And the last point here is, remember that people are also looking for a deeper connection now post-pandemic, right? I know a lot of people equally will just be wanting to get a fix, get some sex, get some casual sex, which again, all good, right? All fine if we're honest and we set our boundaries. But a lot of people have realized that they want something deeper. They want something more meaningful. So really hold to your values, speak from that place, date from that place of what you're really looking for, and try and put your fears to one side. So I hope that was really useful to you. That's just some tips that I've come through helping my various coaching clients with. If coaching is something you'd really like to speak to me about, just drop me an email at hello@theauthenticman.net. And yeah, go check me out on Instagram. Plenty of advice, plenty of wonderful stuff coming out of there at the moment as well, which is at @theauthenticman_. But yeah, you can look out for my next full-length episode, which will be coming out next week. Until then, guys, have a wonderful day, and go deep when you can.